Hello and welcome. My name is Justin. Thank you for once again joining me here at my table. And today we have another installment of my Mastering Monsters series, where I'm going to be learning all about the different creatures that I have never seen in the world of D&D, and taking these creatures and rolling up an encounter that through a template that I have created. Today we have an interesting one. I rolled up a rather strong demon creature. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so this monster of a creature is called a Nalfeshnee. Now, these things are demons, very strong ones at that, who take the shape of some type of amalgamation of demon and a bestial visage. So in this case, it's a mixture of what looks like a boar with some intense draconic-like horns to it. It's got a cow tail with hoof feet, with this humanoid demonic form. Now, these things are strong, and they know it. They actively search out for places to conquer, as they feel like they are the next demon lords up and coming, right? These things can during combat not only do they have true sight, so they can see through almost any illusion. They can see through invisibility. They can see in complete darkness, both magical and not. They have an action teleport that they can use for up to 120 feet. They have a reaction teleport that they can use up to 120 feet to any creature that they see. They have a rend attack that does an insane amount of damage. They have an attack called Horror Nimbus, which if the saving throw is failed, it does 8d6 psychic damage and frightens the creature for up to 1 minute. This thing is ridiculous. It is aggressive. It is arrogant. It is cunning, though, as these creatures seek to use lesser-minded creatures in their advancement towards conquering their own planes, their own spaces, right? They'll use cultists or other weak-minded creatures to do their bidding for them. So let's go ahead and get into this and roll it up and see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll my d6 to determine the encounter type. Ooh, interesting. This type of encounter I've titled as item needed. So in this type of encounter, the party, there's an item somewhere in the combat arena that the players need to find in order to take out the boss. In other words, okay, not the most difficult encounter though. I mean, considering this is a boss level creature, I still feel like this is going to be a pretty intense encounter, regardless of the difficulty that I've rolled up. I'm pretty thankful that I didn't roll up anything higher than a 10, to be completely honest. So this is going to be a rather easy encounter compared to what it could be. So in this case, it's just going to be the Nalfeshnee. And because it's it's supposed to be a rather easy encounter, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the Nalfeshnee a handicap in regards to the item itself. So the item is going to be something. I'm just gonna it's gonna be something that stops the creature from using its full power. And one of its more intense abilities seems to be its ability to teleport, or its true sight. Those two can be quite deadly to an encounter, especially if you have, say, a spellcaster that relies on invisibility, or a spellcaster that relies on changing their image in some way. So in my opinion, those are going to be the two biggest factors that determine what are going to be difficult in this fight. So I think one of those two is going to be affected, and I think I'm going to go with the teleportation. There's going to be something in this room, or in this combat encounter, that when the players find will stop the creature from teleporting. And to me, the thing that makes the most sense is some type of... Oh, and this thing can fly. So this creature typically has a relic of some kind. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and roll on the, because it's such a low level difficulty, I'm going to roll on the common relics table and see what I get. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I rolled something called the Ear Horn of Hearing. And this item is it's a horn that that seems to suppress, it says it suppresses the effects of being deafened. So I think that this horn is imbued with the Nalfeshnee's magic. And because it is so, this horn has been imbued with the Nalfeshnee's teleportation magic in this case, for one reason or another. And because of that, it keeps it on its waist at all times, but every time it teleports, this horn lights up with a blue flame, similar to what we see in the image here. A flame that emanates from the inside of this horn, and in the smoke, similar to what we see in the image here, you could see the skeleton figures of those that the Nalfeshnee has killed in its past. Okay, so now we have to come up with with some type of check that would allow the players to be able to obtain the horn somehow. Obviously, they still have their agency and they can use whatever means necessary. I think the general check for taking it is going to be rather high, as this is a really important item for the Nalfeshnee to have, because once it's destroyed, it loses its ability to teleport, which also means that it doesn't have its action teleport and it doesn't have its reaction teleport either. And its movement would be limited to its 20-foot walking speed and 30-foot flying speed. So I think that in this case, the DC would be... the party would have to be pretty high level to face this thing. I'm going to make the DC 20. I think that sounds fair to me. So the general DC for being able to take the horn from the Nalfeshnee is going to be a DC 20. For whatever check. Say someone wants to cast Mage Hand, it would be an opposed Arcana check or something along those lines. If somebody wants to sneak up and take the horn from the Nalfeshnee, the stealth check would be 20, or so on and so forth. So we have everything we need for the item here. So next, we're going to be working on the actual encounter itself. Okay, so I think that this is where this is about the farthest that I'm going to take with this encounter. In terms of creating a battle map, that would be something that as a DM I would take on personally, because I personally really enjoy making the maps. I've made quite a few of them. But I think that's where I'm going to leave this, because the Nalfeshnee, I rolled up a really low level encounter, and it's specific to item needed in order to maybe defeat the situation or defuse the situation. If the party should encounter this thing, it would be a pretty high level encounter normally, and I think that as a combat encounter, it would already be pretty difficult as it is. So I believe that simply having this item, the Ear Horn of Hearing, or maybe we'll call it the Ear Horn of Teleportation. So we have the Ear Horn of Teleportation that has been imbued with the Nalfeshnee's teleportation magic for one reason or another. Maybe it encountered combat with the Demon Lord because it got too arrogant and ended up losing the fight, and was cursed by the Demon Lord to lose its teleportation magic. And in doing so, the Nalfeshnee took one of its own horns, broke it off, and sealed the magic for its teleportation into this horn, leaving the Nalfeshnee with only one horn on its head and the other horn on its waist that bellows its blue flame magical smoke every time that it teleports. And as soon as that horn is destroyed, the Nalfeshnee is no longer able to teleport around the arena the way that it was before, which, in my opinion, makes this encounter miles easier once the players are able to do it. If the players are able to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here. This was a fun little one. The Nalfeshnee is a very interesting creature. I think this is something that I would use in the future in my campaigns. I really like having read up on this character and being introduced to it. Thank you once again for joining me here today at my table. I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did, and let me know what you think of the Nalfeshnee. How would you use it in your encounters, or as a PC, how would your current character go about defeating the Nalfeshnee? So thank you once again for joining me today. If you liked it, please leave a like below. Shoot me some comments on what you think about the video, or like I said, how you would go about all of this. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.